Well, welcome back, everyone. Just in time for the 4th of July weekend, we uncovered something that many of you probably know, but right here in Saratoga at Skidmore, we have one of the premier summer jazz institute sessions called the Skidmore Jazz Institute. And joining me today is the director, Todd, and check this last name out, Kuhlman. Yeah. If you're going to be in jazz, Todd, you better have the name Cool in there.
I could have been in that or refrigeration, I guess, so I chose jazz, you know.
Let me just give you a little background, because he won't, but I'll tell you right away that the likes of this gentleman here, playing bass, electric and double bass,
that's right,
for Horace Silver, Jerry Mulligan, Stan Getz, Art Farmer, Lionel Hampton, and Benny Goodman. And that dates you, of course, the last two.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
In my defense, they were in advanced years by then.
They were. Yeah. I see. Boy, what a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
We could talk for days. I know we could.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the Jazz Institute, the history of it.
Well, we're in our 27th year. The founding faculty fathers, so to speak, were Milt Hinton and Ed Shaughnessy. And it grew out of that and developed into a really well-respected program. Now in our 27th year, we continue to attract some of the best and brightest young, talented, aspiring musicians across the nation. Students come here. We have students this week from Los Angeles, Houston, Miami, New Orleans, of course New York State and the Northeast. Right. They come from everywhere, and the talent is amazing.
I can't even imagine the level of talent and how it surprises you, right?
It really does, because to be perfectly honest, I don't think we played that well at that age. I really don't.
Right.
And maybe, I don't know if it's just the access they have to the media, the video, the YouTube, and all of this stuff. Maybe the fact that there's more education in the schools in the area of jazz. Ours was more on the street and quite informal and unstructured. So, but whatever the reasons, the talent level is extremely high.
Gotcha. All right. Again, I'm going to really just try to cut to some of the things here.
Sure.
The new this year,
yes,
at the Institute,
yes,
I spotted two things.
Yes.
Guitar stuck out to me.
Yes.
And also the whole idea of the technology side, the recording side,
yes,
the Avid Pro Tools side.
Yes.
Let's start with guitar.
Well, in terms of guitar, we've always had guitar instructors, and we've had some of the guys from the local area that have helped us who've been wonderful. But we felt that, we're close to New York City.
Right.
And many of the really premier guitarists and guitar teachers are there and available to us. So we wanted to envelop that and bring that into the fold, so to speak. A lot of times guitar is, in a larger jazz group, is considered auxiliary or maybe not. But there's so many great talented guitar students out there that we felt it was a little short shrift, and we wanted to be more inclusive. So it's been very successful. We have some guitar students here this week that I'm ready to hire.
They surprise you, don't they?
It doesn't make me feel old, but I'm constantly amazed at what their aptitude level is. I'm very pleased. I don't know all the reasons for it, but I'm just delighted they're here.
And let's just jump to the Pro Tools.
Yes.
As we discussed before we went on air today,
yes,
back in our day,
yes,
you get signed to a record company, you get enveloped into a large sort of organization,
yeah,
and now the kids not only record themselves, they edit themselves, they produce themselves,
that's right,
do the graphic design, so it has really become a world of entrepreneurs.
It is, and it's an entirely different world than the one that we came up in. So for us to continue to behave as if it isn't is short-selling the students.
Yeah, sure.
So some of them already bring a certain familiarity with the new technology, but many of them haven't embraced it yet. So we're giving them an overview and a look at here's where it's going as you develop your music and improve your playing. You're naturally going to want to document it, and you'll do it on your own.
That's
and
right.
Promote your sound, your music, your voice.
Right.
And that's the world they're entering.
Well, that's a double-edged sword in a way.
It
right?
is, of course it is.
Because here you are trying to understand your instrument, everything from its tonal capabilities to your own dexterity, And you somehow have to also be aware of these enormously complicated computer programs.
I think that there's two things at work here. One is that whereas we had all of our time to devote to our instrument and our practice and all that,
Right.
we didn't have to be bothered with the peripheral, with the production end.
That's right.
So they do have to learn that. The good news, the silver lining, is that the technology has evolved is in such a rapid fashion that the new interfaces for Pro Tools, for example, are extremely user-friendly. I mean,
Yeah,
you have two windows. One looks like a mixing board. One looks like the recording footprint. I mean, that's it.
Right.
So you see the recording footprint, you can edit that, and then you see the mixing board. You can adjust levels,
That's right.
tonal things, and that's about it. I'm not saying it's not more complicated than that, but I'm saying that it's a very simple interface that most people can understand quickly. So that has helped immensely, because even just a couple of years ago, it looked like, well, what am I going to be?
Right,
I'm going to be
sure.
an engineer or a player.
Exactly.
I can't do both. Now we're doing both.
You know what? It really harkens back to a fundamental about, there's a lot of these production tools that are available, but great production can't save a bad song.
No
if
way.
it's a bad song, I don't care what production you put on it. So, it
That's
really
true.
has to be built into the integrity of the composition.
That's true, and that has to come from a very sincere,
Yes, it's gotta
heartfelt
come from
place.
your heart.
Because you're selling an idea to people, and you can't sell a tin can and call it a Mercedes,
Right.
and any more than you can sell inferior music and call
right.
it something else. So these students we're trying to get them in touch with that element of, well, what does music mean to you? What do you wish to express? Not just these are the notes we play, but how do you develop your voice? Even at that age and that level of development, it's not too early to start thinking about that.
And also, as Miles Davis would say, it's also the notes you don't play.
Very much so.
Boy.
Very much so. And actually, I do believe that a lot of these things we're seeing in popular culture are actually working in favor of the jazz musician, because jazz doesn't necessarily bombard the senses. It gives the senses time to absorb ideas and to internalize them by breathing, by leaving something, bringing the listener in, rather than making the music do this.
Yes, exactly.
So in a way, it's working for us, But I've gone around to look at the different groups this week. I've just been so impressed by the level of instruction, the different styles of teaching, and the level of student engagement has been phenomenal.
Well, I'll tell you something. If you're impressed, they must be very impressive. You know what I want to talk about? We're 1 week into this. We have one more week to go.
Yes.
If anybody's been up to Skidmore to the Zankel Music Center, you realize this is one of the premier music centers in the country.
Yeah, it is.
The Ladd Concert Hall, which also has a reputation for earning a Grammy, one of the Latin Grammys,
That's
as I
right.
recall.
That's correct.
And of course, the Grossman Recording Studio. So any student participating in the Institute program, and they're required. I asked Todd. They're required to do 2 public performances.
Yes, they're dynamic. They occur each Friday. They will be Friday, July 4th.
This Friday coming up,
and then
right?
Friday the 11th at
Right.
1 o'clock in Zankel. And our viewers need not take my word for it.
Right.
Come and check these people out, and I'm glad they have seats, because you'll need to be sitting down.
Yes.
I mean, it's phenomenal, and I can't wait. I heard some groups today that I just heard Monday. Their growth has been exponential. I was floored. So I'm stoked. I'm really serious. If you have a little time on Friday, do yourself a favor and don't trust me. Just come and see and hear for yourself, because they're worthy of our attention.
So once again, this Friday the 4th, and also next Friday the 11th, 1 p.m. at Zankel Music Center Hall, Center,
right.
which is up on the Skidmore campus,
Right.
and you'll be prepared to have your head knocked off.
And if they can't make that, the faculty performs each Thursday evening at 8.
Yeah, that's right.
And next Tuesday, I don't know the date, but a Tuesday next week, Gary Smullian will have a trio here with Ray Drummond and Billy Drummond that will be phenomenal. And that's at 8 o'clock too. So there's a lot of jazz music happening at Zankel.
Well, I warned you we could talk for an hour on this one, Todd.
Yeah.
We're going to have you back again. Just talk about jazz.
I would love it
We
anytime.
didn't even get to his years in playing fusion, in the likes of the Joe Zawinul's and the Herbie Hancocks and the Chick Coreas.
Yeah.
Man, what a career you've had.
Well, it's you have to be lucky too. You have to work hard. You have to have some talent, but more than anything, I found that you just have to be like most jazz musicians that you talk to, and myself included. We didn't pick jazz; it picked us,
you, yes.
and it's a calling.
Yes, it sure
It just is.
Well, good, Todd. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
It's a
coming
pleasure
in.
to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you so
pleasure
much.
to meet you. To see this interview again, please head to our website, looktvonline.com. We'll be right back.